Jesus, for our life, the King of Glory. Thank you, Father, because we are here, Jesus, Father. Holy Spirit, each and everything that is going to be communicated unto us, O Holy Spirit, Father. May you make our hearts a fertile ground, O King of Glory, to receive each and everything that they are going to tell us, O King of Glory, and help us to put it into practice, Jesus, O King of Glory. We welcome the Spirit of wisdom to be in us, O King of Glory, Father. We refuse each and every spirit of confusion, and we allow the Holy Spirit to come and take your place and minister to Jesus, so that each and everything may end peacefully. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, I pray and we thank the Lord. Super Soul Sisters in the house. The administrative unit is also here. Applaud them, the administration. Our family online, clap for her, she's here. Going to tell us all about what we have come here for, right? Yes! I think you want to see her. Yes! She's called Miss Rowena Kajunga. Let's welcome her.
Thank you so much. We did not get your name. Kanembaba Zanita. Thank you so much, and you're doing a great job. You know, being a leader in the school does not end there. It means you're picking skills. It means you're going to take them out of here eventually. Well done. Thank you so much for welcoming us here at Kololo Sss. We are very, very honored. Thank you all. And for making your time to come and see us here today. Thank you so much for the introductions. Thank you for coming. And today, with me for the Super Soul Sisters, we decided to come here, engage our young girls and boys. Hopefully there's some boys here. Maybe to pick a thing or two. And we are here with some of our very own that you've seen before on our sets. They've come and talked to us. The purpose of this is to engage our young women and men, to let them know that it's okay for the young girl to push, to thrive, and be empowered, and be in the working space, even if they're not. Allow them to be as hardworking as they can push themselves. That way we have a greater society, especially if we work together as a team. Now with me today, if I start from the extreme end here on the left, is Rehema Namara, who is the CEO, Remy Blooms. Please welcome her. She has given us this beautiful set within minutes. Yes? Very, very beautiful set. And right next to her, I'm sure most of you know her. No. Yes? How? And she, how, eh? They will tell us how. And she is a politician, or some people would want to say former politician, but we say once a politician, always a politician. Indeed, and that is Honorable Miriam Matembe. She's a woman activist as well. And of course, she's leading a couple of things that she's doing on her own, pushing with colleagues to make sure that we realize that women have opportunities and women should take the opportunities. And on my and right next to me here on my right is our very own Stella Nantumbwe. Yes, yes. She's an actress, she's a TV personality, and she's a former Miss. Indeed, thank you so much. And these amazing ladies are here today to tell us their story. Of course, not everything, yes, but sneak peeks, and hopefully you can give in a few questions here and there. But thank you so much. My name is Rowena Kajumba, and I'm the host for the show Super Soul Sisters. It speaks for itself that all of you are Super Soul Sisters. So as long as you take on the right direction, don't stop, don't be discouraged. And that's why these amazing women are here with us. And of course, the people who are watching us back at home, this is an experience for us as well. And we are going to pick and learn a lot from our young ladies and gentlemen. I will start real quickly here with Rema. If you could introduce yourself on who Rema is so that everyone here can understand who Rema is.
I'm Floris. I'm also doing work. I did May when I was A-level, and I did a bachelor's degree in economics at Makerere University. I have a postgraduate diploma in procurement and supply chain, and I went to my passion. I'm from down in Sokoto. I've grown and started in Sokoto. So when after you over here, I want to tell you that you can always make if you focus. Try not to be diverted, have your goal, and be focused.
Thank you so much. That is Rema. She has told us about what she does. She has done all different things, and she still said, I will have to do what I'm passionate about. No job is too what? No job is too hard. Okay? Everything you set yourself to, you will definitely do it. And right next to me is Honorable Miriam Matemba. She's going to also be telling us a whole lot more about herself. But real quick to the young girls here and boys that are watching us, Honorable. What is that one particular thing that motivates you, that pushes you as a person to do what you do up to now?
Hello? Hi. Very good. I expect that kind of quietness. Well, they call me Miriam Matembe, the Honorable Dr. Miriam Matembe. I am a lawyer by profession. With 3 degrees, that's why I'm doctor in law. I am a politician by calling, by the call of God on my life. And therefore, having been a politician, I've been a member of Parliament of Uganda for 17 years. Then I was a minister who started the Ministry for Ethics and Integrity for 5 years. I was a member of the Pan-African Parliament of Africa for 3 years. I am one of the 21 members that made the draft constitution of Uganda. And I am one of the delegates that discussed and made the Constitution of Uganda. That is now on the official side. On the society side, I'm a founding member of so many non-governmental organizations that deal with women's rights and human rights. On the family level, I am now married for 48 years. And I have sons and daughters and grandchildren. All of you here are my grandchildren. Okay, I am telling you this because if you read this word here, we came here to tell you our stories which will make you also. And when I visit a school and I talk, I don't go empty. I know that I have planted a seed, and soon after I will meet the seed having grown. And therefore, before you, you have a very distinguished woman of destiny who went out Now I want to answer your question. It says, what moves me on? A woman of destiny who had a childhood dream from 9 years. I had a dream that I wanted to study law. Why did I want to study law? I wanted to study law because I wanted to see why the girls and the women were discriminated against. And so I heard down there that somebody called a pleader is one who pleads for people. And at 9 years, I had made up my mind that I wanted to be a pleader and plead for the girls and women so that they may be treated as equal human beings in their own right. And that's why I'm so glad that the biggest title, you were clapping me for my titles, but the biggest title I own and enjoy is being the child of God. I love God so much because He gave me a childhood dream and He enabled me to run with this childhood dream and to realize it and to do that which He had created me to do, which I continue to do right now, even when I have no office at all, because I'm already retired, but not tired to run with the fight against discrimination, against injustices, against inequalities, especially when it comes to the girl child and the women. So that's what drives me. I'm driven in my life by the passion for justice, equality, and fairness. And so, but in short, what I'm telling you right now, before I say anything else, is, do you really have a dream? Yes. Do you have a dream? Yes. Which you want to realize? Yes. Very good.
When you mentioned law, everyone was excited. Most of you want to be lawyers? Yes. No? Well, you can be anything you want to be, if we are being honest. And that's why she talked about a what? A dream. And that's very important. That is something that should motivate each and every one of you out there. And right next to me here as well on my right is Stella Nanturwe. Please talk more about yourself, and then we can get into the rest of the discussion.
My name is Stella Nanturwe. I was, and say I still am, Miss Uganda 2013-2014. I am a businesswoman, and it's very hard for me to follow after Mama Maria because she is an amazing woman, and I'm humbled to sit up here with these amazing women. I am also humbled to sit in front of all of you amazing young people. With you, I know that we have future lawyers, like you all want to be, future presidents, future doctors, and future so many things. The future is yours. I am also a businesswoman, a mother. I did my degree in business computing, and I also have a master's in creativity and innovation, and that is my field. I will hand myself back over to Rowena to ask me the other questions.
He did. So I think you can hear from all these amazing ladies, different journeys, but they all went for one goal, to make sure that they do the things they're passionate about. Now, half the time we get lost, yes? Today you want to be this, tomorrow you want to be that. But the key word here is, do you have a dream? With a dream you get a goal, right? So what I want to ask our amazing ladies here, I'll start with Rema. When you had the dream and the goal as a child and said, probably this is what I want to be, or this is what I want to get to. Now we're having so many of our young girls here, probably, and some boys, hopefully, that we reach a stage where it's time to make some of the hardest decisions. You reach to a point, being younger, yes, you can say I want to be this, but then you get a couple of challenges ahead the way. What made you decide to say, okay, when I go to school or to university, or the hardest after secondary school, because after that, we begin to face life as is, that you begin to think back on what should be my next step. What drove you into thinking, this is what I want to do now? At that point, did you know, or you just went with the flow? We have so many people that end up going for courses, end up going to try out things, and then they're like, we'll figure it out along the way. How did you handle that?
Actually, in my case, from childhood, because I loved math, my dream was to be an accountant.
Okay.
But when I applied at the university, I was given 2 courses. I was given a bachelor's in arts, in economics, and then I was given MEG, math, economics, and geography. So I had to make a choice. But BA economics was new, were the pioneers. So I immediately skipped, and I went to join BA economics.
Wasn't that a difficult decision, being that it was a new course? So many people are hesitant on taking chances.
Yeah, we were only 9 in class.
9? 9, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
But I did not actually practice. I did not do the economics. Together with my husband, Dr. Suleiman Namara, currently working with the World Bank, we agreed that I first give attention to my children. So after university, I put everything aside and gave my children the best that I could.
Now, at this point, were you thinking, I will eventually get back into this working space, I'll eventually be able to do some of the things that I love to do, or you were leaving it to see how it goes?
No, I knew that after some point, I'll get back on my feet again and do something. But I did not actually practice. After my children had grown, because they had no experience, everywhere I would apply, I wouldn't be successful. But I had this passion for flowers, like since childhood. But I could not notice at that point that I had passion for nature.
Okay.
So I discovered I had passion, but I did not notice when I was collecting whatever I was collecting. It just fell into place like it was planned by God.
It was planned by God.
Yeah.
And when you decided to do that, how easy was it for you?
I did not plan. So things happened,
Okay.
and I wouldn't notice. But I came to a point whereby after giving birth to my 5th child, who is the only girl amongst boys, I fell sick.
Sorry.
Yeah, I fell sick. I got breast cancer. I have mentors. Madam Amelia Masiko Momo, Madam Meti Mugoya, and so many others in the UTPA, Uganda Tropical Plant Association, who would come and inspire me because I was basically a stay-home mom. They held my hand. So when I fell sick, they would tell me, look for this, look for that.
Through your struggle with breast cancer,
yes,
you had started to adapt to doing, dealing with plants, flowers, and doing your passion.
Yes, please.
Okay.
And something funny, even during my treatment, after the 3rd chemo, my mental was really, really low that I couldn't withstand the 4th chemo. They had to give me a booster. By that time I came home because my son was wedding. So I stayed home for 10 days. But what did I do that time? I was meeting with the momos. We were weeding, organizing my compound. By the time I went back, before you book in for daycare, they check whether your body can withstand.
Yes.
So I did a CPC and all those checks. My immunity was higher than the one I had before I started.
That's
But
good.
all was because of the plants.
It encouraged you, it kept you moving.
Yes.
And I must say, congratulations for beating cancer.
Thank you.
That is something that so many people would have lost hope on. That is something indeed. And as you can see, evidence, yes, she has this and more. Now, Honorable did mention that from when she was about 9 years old, she realized that there was a lot of unfairness in how the boys or the men were being treated compared to the girls or the women. Do you mind sharing with us one particular thing that you feel to today does tickle your mind in regards to this issue?
Well, for me, I'm talking to people, these children you see here. I don't think any of them knows the life I lived. Because I do not think that there are those who are from the villages. Are you from villages? Yes. Are you from difficult, poor families? Yes. I came from a very poor peasantry family. Where you wake up in the morning at 6 o'clock and you go to dig, and from there you go to look for water, and by the time you reach the school you are tired. Do you know that life? Yes. I was fighting that we should overcome such kind of life. And in fact, that's why I want to thank the Lord, because He made me break through so that my children would not live the kind of life I lived. Because me, I came poor background where the only thing I can tell you is that I'm happy that my father took all of us boys and girls to school. I was born with 3 girls and 5 boys. And yet I had my father saying that my mother refused to produce children. And then he would even say that he produced girls, and yet girls were fewer. You see what was driving me? And then when we went to school, I used to go to school with my brother. I was following my brother. Now school fees would not be there, and they would chase us home. But his school fees would be found within about 2 days, but mine, it would take me like a month or 3 weeks with no fees. You get it? And then I would ask, but why? Why is this, the fees is there and mine is not there? And you are a young girl, very young, you are a child. And whenever my mother was not there, then I would not go to school. I stay at home, take care of the children. But he would go to school. You see how I got to see? And therefore I was able to see that there is a discrimination and unfairness against girls. And so, that's why I call it God's purpose for my life. The work which I do, or what I came to be my dream, was God's purpose for my life. And that's why before I go further, I may not answer your questions properly, but I would give information to these girls. Each of you, by the way, I have to tell you, each of you is wonderfully and fearfully made in the image of God. Each of you is very beautiful and special in the eyes of God, and each of you was created for a purpose. Each of you, God created you for a purpose. And I want to pray that you may be able to know, like God brought to me the purpose for which He was created when I was still young. I'm one of the favored one. God showed me there is injustice, and I started fighting. I want to cut the story short. You know what was amazing? When we reached P6, my brother, who was attending school all the time, repeated P6, and I found him there. And when I found him there, we studied, we went to P7, and when we reached P7, I got first grade, he got second grade. And second grade, you couldn't go to a senior school. The schools were not there. I'm talking of, a different environment. Now, they called me to Weranyanji Girls Secondary School. And I went, and I knew that now I am going to study law, now that I've gone to this senior secondary school. Yeah. So when I reached there in senior 2, my brother passed to go to senior 1. Do you know what these people did? They came to withdraw me from the secondary school because they didn't have enough fees to pay for 2 people. So they wanted me to go and study in the teacher training college to study teaching because there they were not paying school fees. Do you see what I'm telling you about this discrimination that was killing me? This is a girl, a child, whether a girl or boy, who has distinguished herself as being brilliant and can do great and has not repeated any class, and you come to withdraw her from the senior secondary school because she's a girl so that the boy can go study. The boy who has been repeating. Can you imagine parents? Can you imagine parents, how they can do that? Anyway, to cut the story short, I refused, and this is what you need to know. That was my dream killing now. Some people were trying to kill my dream, but God said no. She has a dream which she must fulfill. You know, I asked my mother, she's the one who had come to pick me. I said, why isn't the boy also going to study teaching? And me, I continue. Then the headmistress said, you see, you have to pity your parents, they don't have enough. The headmistress was a woman, she never even helped me. So I said, what about I hear of bursary? They said there are bursaries, can't I get a bursary? Then we asked education officer, where do we find him? He said in Mbarara. I said, my mother, take me. He said, but I don't know English. Mark, I was in senior 2, just joined senior 2, small girl there. I told my mother, I will speak the English. You take me there. I'll speak the English. Moreover, English from the village, remember, I was coming. I must finish here. I must finish. Now, the good news is that I went there. I spoke the English. I can assure you, at that 14 years, I myself secured the bursary for myself. And I continued with my secondary school. Do you see? So can anything deter you? If you have a dream, if you have God's purpose for your life, nothing. That was a dream killer. They couldn't kill the dream. Then when I reached to go to HSC, I learned. We studied about British parliamentary history. That's when I learned that the laws are made in parliament. Now I said, wait a minute. When I studied this law, and I find it is not saying good about women and girls, I will go to parliament and I will make the law. Can you imagine it? And then I was 16 years by that time. And of course I passed. They called me to Makerere, and my father says, what? You cannot study law in my house. You people, you think people are studying every course? We have fought for you girls to study every case, to do everything. We fought for you. So my father said, you are not going to study law, not in my house, I will ostracize you. I said, okay, go to Makerere and tell them that you don't want me to study law. But he didn't know where Makerere was, this villager. I said, and I was not ready to take him to Makerere. So he sat, I defeated, I came to Makerere, and I studied my law. And as I told you, I ended up being not only making the small law, but making the fundamental of the land, the constitution of Uganda. And I ended up not being a member of parliament only in Uganda, but Uganda, Africa, and a minister. So is there anything that can stop you? No. When you have your God, when you have your dream, you know Psalm 25, it says, show me we shall put the girl now. Show me the girl or the woman who fears the Lord, and who fears the Lord, and he will instruct you in the way chosen for you. Mine was a way chosen for me, and I'm still following it. Despite the constraints, the dream killers, they will always be there. But you stand firm with your God, you will win.
Now, I do know many of you right now have a lot of things to ask, but we shall ask later on. Is that okay? Okay. Now, Stella, there is a time we had a conversation, and you talked about what it was like being in school. Yes? Now, this would be a very good story for our young boys and girls here, ladies and gentlemen, yeah? It would be a very good story for them to know, because this is the point in life where so many things, including your own peers, can sort of make you second guess yourself. It can be family, like we've heard from Honorable. It can be an ailment, like we've heard from Rama. Now, at the end of the day, we are sharing these stories, and these amazing women have said, no matter what, okay, I'm going to follow the path that I choose to follow. Now, you did talk about, growing up in school. Tell us about that and how it shaped your choices in life.
I went to school at 5 years. Yes, which is late for some children. But I was always very quick. I wanted to learn really fast. And I remember something that we didn't talk about when I was younger, and I would be in the taxi with my sister. I didn't know how to speak English. I would only speak Uganda, but I would do Mogo. What's mine? Yes. So I had the worst English. My sister knew English, but I always wanted people to know that I could speak. So I would just say what I felt I would say, and she was always holding my mouth. She was embarrassed. But fast forward to now, I speak English, thank God, and I truly love the language. Anyway, in school, I was always into music, dance, and drama, but I also took my studies very seriously. So I always made sure that top 10 was my number. I loved excellence from a very young age. That is something that is very dear to me. I love being excellent, and I think you all should as well love being excellent. I grew up doing MDD and anything the school had, I would want to participate because I'm that child. I'm very obedient. Yes, so in school I'd always be bullied because I was very skinny and very tall with big eyes and knocking legs,
With what?
Knocking legs.
I was pretty small. I wear my shorts and you see my legs in the shorts and And at some point, my older sister cut my hair off, so I had no hair. People thought I was a boy. And they would say, "Oh, how is your boy?" And I was like, "No, that's a girl." I'm like, you see, it's happening. So I grew up feeling very ugly. Still gonna do it. I'm gonna be the best at it, and you're gonna take my picture, and I'm doing this. I refuse to give up. If I was interested in a thing, I went for it. I wanted always to have a multiple scope of, a very large scope of talents. I wanted to explore everything my heart felt like. If it was dance, I'm there. Music, I'm there. Acting, I'm there. Art, I'm there. Mathematics, I'm there. Science, I'm there. Inter club, I'm there. I wanted to be everywhere. Sports, even that I tried. Not the best.
I was going to say, which sports?
Volleyball.
Yeah, you can run kilometers, long legs.
Yes, she can.
I used to run.
I can tell you, number one, to build character and spirit. Build your character and your spirit. Because when people are telling you something you're not, your character and your spirit will help you stay in who you are. And we do all those things only by God. Okay? Because God will help you build the right character, and also the Word of God will help build your spirit. Okay? To overcome so many things.
How did the bullying make you feel? Because so many times, and we did mention this, sometimes parents, all of you will be parents one day, okay? And sometimes parents will not have the time to talk to their children about bullying. I don't know if schools talk about this, but bullying is something that can really ruin people's dreams.
What
we talked
is that?
about dreams.
Bullying.
To bully people, yes. It can ruin people's dreams, yeah? How do you remember that making you feel as a person? And right now saying,
They used to bully me, but I don't.
When I was bullied, first of all, I always wanted to hide. There's a time I got to where I didn't want to go to school. So I would try and make up excuses. But my mother, I was in a single parent household. My mother was like, "You're going." And then, She would slap you when you get out the door. Because she didn't know why. But one day I finally told her. And my mother, being the woman she was, in all her energy and strength, went to the school, confronted the boys, said, why do you talk to my daughter this way? And that helped for a little bit. But I also realized she can't be there every day. So bullying is something that tried to almost break my spirit. Because when people tell you, say you have gigantic eyes, I grew up hating my eyes. I grew up hating that I was tall. I grew up hating my legs. I grew up hating everything about me that God made beautiful. Because someone else told me it was ugly. And you will meet people like that. You will have things about yourself and you love them, but they don't see the beauty in them. They always say beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. And for me, I say my beholder is God. So He sees me as beautiful, so I am beautifully and wonderfully made, and I take that now. But back then, I was very sad. I would contemplate, I'd say to myself, when I make money, the first thing I'm going to change about myself is my eyes, and this thing, these legs, I'm going to get them I can't change these bones. Why do my legs look like this? If I walk this way, they won't notice. If I stand this way, nobody will see. If, you know, and then I would take focus away from the important things into my body image. Sometimes that's what bullying does. They will bully you about your social status. They will bully you about your body image. They will bully you about your beliefs, about maybe even your performance in class. And all those things just make you feel worse and worse and worse. They break your spirit. But I always refused to. I would cry a little bit. I remember one day this boy insulted. I said, "You're not going to pass your PhD." I was crying. Okay, he didn't pass the way he wanted, but anyway. Now looking back, if I had had the space or the right path to talk to someone about it, then maybe I wouldn't have had to live in my head so much. You know, trying to protect myself from people's words, trying to protect myself from their opinions, trying to protect even my performance from the elements, you know, the ungodly things. And I know that there are three people who experience bullying. It is the person that's being bullied, the person that's doing the bullying, and the people that stand by and watch. So, if you're in one of those categories, you need to figure out what you need to do about it. And I think we'll talk about that later if you want to. But remember, the person that's being bullied, the person that's doing the bullying, and the person that sits and stands by and watches while someone else is experiencing this. So think about it.
Those words hit so hard. And she did mention you need to find who you are, your character. What do you represent when you step into a place? Once you know who you are, trust me, even if you stood out there, everyone will feel your presence, okay? And that is the thing, though, about not waiting for later. Do you know who you are? Do you all know who you are? As a person, as a character, what you bring to the table? Really? Seems like you're not sure. But that is something we can always work on, okay? And that is why these amazing ladies are here to talk to you about finding who you are. Whether the boys and girls, regardless, yeah? Whether it's a man or a woman, if you know what you're bringing to the table. Because then if we have boys who know the right thing to do, then we have a better what? A better society. Because then they will support you, and then you will support them. But the moment we lose what we're calling the character, the charisma, what identifies you as a person, the humanity in you, then we have a problem. Now, ladies, the next thing I'm going to go into, because our young women and men are excited about the fact that you've pushed your boundaries, you're doing all sorts of things. We do know there's challenges. However, this is why we're here to talk about these things so that they never lose hope. They never say, okay, now that this challenge has come my way, I need to stop here. As Remy blooms, what is it like? Because we hear people saying, I'm going to be a businesswoman. I'm going to be a businessman. And you know, it doesn't end on that. Eh? It means a lot of things are going to come through. But I'll ask this, as a woman, getting into this market, it may seem like it's obvious, yeah? But as a woman getting into this market and pushing and having people trust you and the work you do, how has that gone for you?
How you value what you do and how you value the people you serve. You have a goal and you have to be consistent, not to give up. There are days when the business is so good and there are days when the business is so hard. No money at all, but you have to move on, not to give up. Stay focused. However hard it may be, you should always have it in mind that there are always those dry days when things are really hard. So you have to be focused and be consistent and fight on. The other thing is you may also need support system to help support you, even when things are hard. It could be friends, could be family, sisters, could be your prayer friends from the church. You need them. Never take them for granted. All the time. You can't do it alone. All this success you think about really blooms. It's not really blooms. I have one thing that I have always done. I get a lot of people come because I do business for. So once she comes, Honorable may come and tell me, no, Remy, this one will look good if it were there. The moment she steps out of my gate, immediately, I do it. I don't wait for tomorrow. I implement. Then the people who build us are not only the people above us, even the people who support you at home can teach you a lot. Never look down on anyone. You will always find something to learn from them.
Do take one step at a time. Do know who you are. Do know what you bring to the table. We'll be back, of course, with Honorable, with Rehema, and of course with Stella